Is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday morning. 1 hour to go until the opening bell, and we have markets with volatility. Should not surprise you if you've been following, but volatility in both directions yet again this morning. Right now, markets barely in positive territory. Dow futures up 47 points, trading at 26,515. And even as I mentioned that, I believe those numbers are accelerating. We now have the Dow up 161 points, 26,627. S&P's up about 12 right now, 3,077. We've got the NASDAQ up 67 points, trading at 88.58. We're going to start things off. I have a chart of the VIX up there. You back things up to Friday at the lows of the market. VIX almost climbing to 50. Quite a day in the markets yesterday, all over the place. You have the Dow up 5%. Those numbers just not heard of. The VIX 33.13 as we look to open the markets this morning. We'll start things off. We'll jump over to the charts. We'll start it off with the Dow 30, and why not? We're going to tie in what's been going on in terms of the news cycle, driving things overnight. Of course, coronavirus fears front and center. You have a G7 meeting, began at 7 in the morning, and while they talked about being open, we'll get the exact verbiage here. U.S. stock index futures indicate a lower open. That was actually earlier. We've seen the climb now, though, and that having to do with the G7 saying in a statement they'll use policy tools to curb an economic slowdown. However, giving no specific details of those actions. So that news coming out as we jump back to the charts to tell you what's been going on. That news coming out right at 7:30 a.m. You see the Dow was up there at about 26,800. Even from overnight, that's a 400-point run from 1 a.m. up to about where we were at 7:30 a.m. You then proceed to go from 27,789. We go down in the Dow to 26,383, 400 points down. And then guess what? Even since about 8 a.m. this morning, we're now approaching 250 points above that price level in the Dow just in the last half hour, 26,625 with all the markets in positive territory. NASDAQ 100, pretty similar action. We were above 8,900 when we got that news. We trade all the way down to below 8,800, but the market's shaking it off, currently trading 88.56. There's your S&P 500. We actually touched 3,100. You can call it on the dot because we're going to round up from 3,099.88. 3,100 we hit. Currently trading 3,076. Made it all the way below 3060. So you're talking about 45 plus. We actually made it to 3,051. So barely 50 points down, and we're another 26 points up. Crude oil trading with the markets. We were up to a high of 48.59. You have crude trade down to 47.45, more than $1 to the downside from there. Currently 48.18. Gold contract was up at 1606 earlier, currently still above 1600 at 1602, and the euro US dollar right above 111 at 111.03. In terms of what else you have happening in the market, it is still earnings season. Jumping over to two of the names out there with their numbers. Target shares. Now it says falls. We're going to pull up the chart. This news coming out, that was early, 6 a.m. I was up here checking out news stories, driving the action. Target was lower. It rebounded to higher territory last time I checked. We'll pull up the chart in a moment. But Target said in mid-January that its holiday season fell short of expectations with weak sales of toys, electronics, and home goods. To get down to the raw numbers, earnings per share they beat, $1.69 versus $1.65. But in terms of revenue, $23.4 billion. They were expecting $23.5. So that's a miss of $100 million, even though it's a 0.1 on those decimals in billions. Same store right in line, 1.5 versus 1.5% growth expected. In the fourth quarter, ending February 1st, net income $834 million from $799 a year earlier. Target earned $1.69 a share, higher than the $1.66 as we referenced. Same-store sales 1.5. In the first quarter of fiscal 2020, targets called for $1.55 to $1.75 earnings per share for same-store sales to grow in the low single digits. Target would earn $1.66 on $18.19 billion, and same-store sales would grow by 2.7 in the quarter. So jumping over to those charts, those numbers, pulling up the chart now, and check out the action. So closed at 109.06. This is a 5-minute chart. You see the action right on that news. We trade down to 106.50, and we're up $3 in the last hour and a half at Target. But we were up there. We were back down. The market trying to figure out where price and demand meet. You see the live bid ask 109.25 by 109.70 with an hour to go until the opening bell. So right around that 109.50 price point. Other companies out there staying in retail. Kohl's having quite a quarter for themselves. Kohl's having quite a quarter. Say that 5 times fast. Sales and earnings beating estimates. I happen to be in Kohl's prior to, maybe it was a Black Friday, maybe it was a Christmas shopping. Lines around the corner. I had considered taking a look at that stock myself. The one thing just fundamentally I think about Kohl's, they have great deals on a lot of discount items. They're not making a big margin on what they're selling. Tough sector to compete when you're competing like that with Target, Walmart, Amazon, I'm sure, as well. But nonetheless, earnings per share, $1.99 versus $1.82, and net sales of $6.53 billion. They were looking for $6.52. Same-store sales flat. They were looking for actually a drop of 0.1%. Pretty remarkable, the standards that are when you compare a company like Kohl's to a company like Target, right? What did we just have on Target? 20-plus billion, I believe, to pull the numbers. 23 billion in 90 days. They're growing at 1.5%. And then you jump over to Kohl's, 6 billion, and they're not even growing. But guess what? It's all about what you've done versus expectation. And you jump over to Kohl's, at least last time I checked, quite an acceleration, right? You go from 37 to 42 on no same-store sales growth, on 6+ billion in revenue, but they beat on earnings. We've paired some of that to 40-40 on a little bit of a longer time frame chart, even a 3-year weekly, though. You see that a lot of expectations have already been priced in for that same-store sales not even growing in Kohl's, back down at 38 from 83 versus you compare that with Target that's just been on a rocket ship, 130.24 on December 23rd. This is a 3-year weekly, so this year declining, but putting it even on a daily. You see we're up there in January, and we were just shy of 120 before last week started with the coronavirus, and Walmart has been a powerhouse as well. Jumping over to them, check out that day yesterday Walmart had up 5 to $15.88, even up more than 5, right? Up almost $6 to $115.88. BNSI is $125.38. And let's see how Walmart's trading pre-market on that Target news. So Walmart actually down a bit, $115.04. You could say on Target, you could say on Kohl's. Maybe the market expected Walmart to be putting a hurting on Kohl's in a little bit more dramatic fashion. Not happening. But jumping back to those S&Ps, checking in again as we get ready for the break here. 3,075. There's your 5-minute bar. You see the acceleration we talked about, and even checking in on gold as we come to that break as well, 1602. I mean, just mammoth runs if you back things up to last week. It looks like no action this morning. Nonetheless, we're above 1600 in gold. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be coming back from the break. We'll be going over other news stories, driving action on Tuesday. Markets in positive territory. We've got 50 minutes to go until the opening bell. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190. The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Right now, we've got the S&Ps flat. Talk about market volatility. Dow Jones up just 48 points, trading 26,516. NASDAQ up about 48. Jumping into that S&P chart, again, we're on a 5-minute chart right now. You see the acceleration since we came on the air at 8:30. We were trading above 3,080. We just spiked down 15 S&P points in a matter of 12 minutes. Looks like volatility will persist, and that should surprise no one. 34.27 currently on that VIX. Other news stories out there, checking in on the coronavirus headlines that are coming out overnight and this morning. Japan indicating their Olympics could be delayed. Trump calling for another rate cut, another day in the markets. Global cases, 91,300, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Global deaths exceeding 3,100. U.S. cases, we're at 91. U.S. deaths, we are unfortunately at 6. Japan indicating their Olympics could be delayed. July 24th, folks. Do the math. You're talking about, what is that, four and a half months? I would be very hard-pressed with the type of events and the types of crowds that are surrounded everywhere. Even if they do have it, the amount of people that would be comfortable, usually you have travelers from all over the world, right, heading to the Olympics. Cheer on your team, cheer on your home country, a little patriotism. And I don't imagine that happening in any capacity in July, let alone anytime soon. Maybe they have the Olympics, as maybe they have March Madness coming up. Is that going to be something that, if this is really spreading, are they going to be playing games in empty stadiums? Maybe you've heard analysts talking about that. A very real potential. You already have games in Europe being played in front of empty stadiums to avoid the crowds. The type of impact that would have on the economy, it's something like that. Just it's going to reverberate for a while. New York City High School reportedly closed after suspected coronavirus case in its community. These are the type of headlines. You see it. It's just breaking as we speak. You should begin to expect these. And I wonder if the market and how the market's going to begin to price in New York City High School closing because of a suspected case. That news just breaking right now. So we'll see what happens. They have nothing to say in terms of further data on that, but I imagine that. We'll see if that even hits the market. S&P is still flat. That's the type of headline. Like I say, you should begin to price in. Visa, warning on a revenue hit due to outbreak, warned that its second quarter revenue growth slower than its previous forecast. Latest payment services provider be affected. Company said it expects current quarter revenue growth to be between 2.5 to 3.5 points lower than the previous forecast. I imagine a lot of people would be using their Visa card in Japan, right, at the Olympics, which may not take place or may get pushed back. How could that not have an impact to that degree? You also had, that's a map of where we are in terms of infections across the world. You see China on there. You see the U.S. at about 101, I guess now. Canada, 27. Mexico at 5. Other stories out there, Tesla, how about it? Getting an upgrade from JP Morgan. Tesla shares trading higher this morning. Market position should continue to be dominant. Tesla, quite the wild ride it's had, especially all the way up to almost 820 this morning. We closed yesterday at 743. We were just trading at 611 on Friday. To put that in context, you're talking about almost a 30% run higher. From there, from 600, we trade up $220. Yeah, even more than that. You're talking about almost a 40% run from 611.52 to 789. Staying with the theme of Elon defending Twitter CEO as activist investor seeks to out him. So Paul Singer's Elliott Management has built a $1 billion stake in Twitter, and they are pushing for the oust of their chief executive. And to get into what he had said, so there's your tweet. I just want to say I support Jack, talking about Jack Dorsey. And so Dorsey, he splits his time. And so they may have a point in terms of he splits his time between Square and Twitter. And I guess I hadn't heard this one, that Jack Dorsey also has a desire to move temporarily to Africa. Maybe he's not the man. Now, I believe he founded Twitter, right? Obviously a brilliant person, but CEO deals with a lot of nuts and bolts of a company. And to have that CEO, number one, splitting their time and doing that. But guess what? Guess who else splits their time? Mr. Elon Musk with Tesla and SpaceX. I'm sure he's got even other ventures going on as well. And you see the run he had, so not surprising that Elon would come to the defense of another innovator, splitting times between multiple companies that he is trying to innovate at. Uber, in line with Visa, acknowledging coronavirus poses material risk to its business. On Monday, Uber acknowledged for the first time that the coronavirus poses a material risk to the company's business. Newly published 2019 financial filing, Uber mentions the coronavirus 5 times, said that the coronavirus could cause its number of platform users to drop or could disrupt the company's new mobility supply chain encompassing e-bikes and scooters. Yesterday, you saw Uber and Tesla reacting to this news yesterday. 33.19, that's down from 39.15, but you see the drop off yesterday morning in a world where the markets were trading up 4 to 5%. You had Uber trade right away from about above 34 to actually under 32. Right now we're trading at 33.19. And jumping over to Lyft real quick, you see the action on Lyft as well. If it's going to affect Uber, it's got to affect Lyft, I would say. And Lyft trades lower to about a close at 36.91, currently trading 37.06. I want to go back to Uber for a moment, though, because I imagine if you're a long-term, and this is a fundamental take, not really a technical take, if you're a long-term investor, Uber just came out with their earnings. Okay, now, number one, you were down at 25.58 in November. You climb all the way up to, we're looking at a daily chart here. You climb all the way up to about $38, $37, I guess, we come into earnings. And Uber tells the world that, guess what? They're going to be profitable. They're going to have a cash supply by the end of this year. It's in 2020, upgrading that. The market loves that. They trade higher to above 41, and we've now gone down to 32.85. I believe we're going to open at 33.30 approximately. Quite a haircut for a company that is going to start profiting money and is a dominant player in the ride-sharing business that outside of the coronavirus, I don't know the type of impact that it may have on that because I imagine there'll be less public events, obviously, which would make sense, right? Are people going to be using Uber at the Tokyo Olympics? Maybe they would have. Maybe they would have been more travel. Maybe they would have had to use Uber to get to the airport before they traveled there. Simple common sense. But in the long run, I imagine this company, when you think about the fact of where we were just on January 7th, we had no idea that Uber was going to start making money towards the end of this year. Lyft, a little bit of a different case. They came out with their earnings after trading higher on the Uber earnings, disappointed, said, no, we're not upgrading when we're going to start making money. We still need to be spending. And so Lyft, when you're talking about 2 years of cash burn potentially before they say they might be profitable, that's quite a risky scenario. But Uber's may be pushed back in light of this as well. But long term, some serious deals there. Other stocks moving that you could have called some serious deals on. Amazon, 2185, the high on Amazon, trades all the way down to almost 1800. This morning, we're going to open at about 1955, so pretty close to where we closed. To see the type of retracement in terms of if this is real to the upside, some of the levels, there we go. You see we're right at that 382 retracement, right? 1953.90 when I drew it just very quickly. 1953. Larry's talked about it a lot on his program. He's coming up right after this show. We got one more segment, though. We'll be back, but Larry sending out all those fib numbers and those indices. We're going to pull up those indices when we come back so you can see right where they are. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be coming back in 3 minutes. Markets barely in positive territory right now. We'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. Right now, we get the S&P up about 9 points. Dow Jones up 108. So as I had mentioned, looking at things in terms of Fibonacci retracements, you back things up. I'm going to put this on a 3-year weekly. There's your pullback in the S&Ps, right to a 50%. Pretty remarkable. And we'll go over the jump we've had since then. So you trade from, basically, you're looking at December of 18, that low 23.16 to 33.97. We come back 50% in the S&Ps. Drilling that down, we've changed things to, we'll pull it up on even a 20-day chart to see the type of pullback we've had in terms of the bounce we've had now. Not quite up to that 50%, but pretty remarkable. 33.97, we trade down to 28.53. We've almost bounced 50%. We almost got 50% back of that entire move down. 31.24, that number's in the S&P. Jumping over to the NASDAQ, putting that back on a 3-year weekly. You see the Fibonacci number right back to a 382 retracement. When you put it on the Dow, almost a 61.8 retracement on that Dow. Drilling it back in on the NASDAQ, putting it on that 20-day chart to see the type of retracement we've had there in terms of the bounce from the recent acceleration lower. Again, you almost got back half of the losses, which is just remarkable for the week we had, trading down 1,600 plus NASDAQ points. But guess what? We're 700 points off the low in the NASDAQ, trading at 81.24. Checking back in on some of the other commodities this morning. There's your crude oil chart, $48.01 right now, and we'll finish it off with the gold contract, 1604, climbing towards those pre-market highs we had. Pull it up of 1605.80, that high from 7:40 a.m. this morning. Stay tuned, folks. We got our man Larry Pesvento coming up live at 9 o'clock. He'll be talking about plenty of Fibonacci numbers. S&Ps positive by 9, NASDAQ positive by 53 right now. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pesvento coming up at live. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Live programming all day at TFNN. We'll be right back.